Hey everyone, hope you're having an amazing day. It's Tom. Today's episode name is Ancient Inventions That Science Still Can't Explain. Over the ages, people have basically been forced to learn in schools that humanity did not know about technology and medicine in ancient times. But if people are not satisfied with this statement and start looking in different sources, they discovers that there are archaeological finds and written records that say something else than what wise books have told us so far. Here are some very good examples where advanced ancient technology makes wrinkles today's skeptical scientists. The Baghdad battery, sometimes referred to as the Parthian battery, is a clay pot that encapsulates a copper cylinder. An iron rod is hung in the middle of this cylinder without touching it. The copper cylinder and the iron rod are held in place by an asphalt plug. These artifacts were discovered in 1936 during the excavations of the old village of Seleucia, which is today's Kujat Rabu near Baghdad. The village is more than 2,000 years old and was built during the Parthian period about 250 years BC. This Baghdad battery is a very good example of how some findings are hidden from people. When the first Baghdad battery was discovered, the finding was not shared with the public because the unusual artifact did not fit into the generally accepted scheme of stupidity of ancient civilizations. This battery was not supposed to be shown to the world at all, but as the excavations continued in the village, more of these batteries were discovered, and they were seen by too many people sharing the find with others, and the discovery could no longer be erased from history. Skeptics of the so-called battery claim that a small container is nothing but a container for storing papyrus. Others say it was used for electroplating. Some scientists believe that the presence of asphalt used as a sealant and the corrosive properties inside the container prove that the machine contained a corrosive liquid. In ancient times, most liquids other than vegetable and mineral oils were acidic. Scientists believe that the corrosive liquid used in the Baghdad battery was vinegar or wine. Paul T. Kaiser claims that these batteries or electric eels were used to numbness, pain or anesthesia the skin for medical treatment. Is it possible that the Baghdad battery was a therapeutic device? Kaiser believes that the bronze and iron needles found near batteries in Seleucia could be used for acupuncture, a common practice in China at the time. At that time, other ancient cultures also used electricity for medicinal purposes. The Greeks and Romans used electric fishes to treat headaches and gout. What I am telling you now is not my imagination, but a historically verifiable truth. Scribonius Largus was the personal physician of Emperor Claudius, and in 47 AD he recorded this method very well in medical records. But since electric fishes are not found in the Persian Gulf or in the Mesopotamian River, perhaps these ancient physicians were aware of their use and invented an electric battery instead. Of course, this theory is not popular among scientists because such advanced knowledge does not correspond to their evolutionary theory of humanity, which allegedly claims that Homo sapiens evolved from primitive unintelligent apes instead of intelligent, creatively thinking, and inventive people. The mysterious iron column in Delhi is 7.2 meters high and is located in the Kawat-ul Mosque in Mehrauli, Delhi, India. It weighs more than 6 tons and is made of 98% wrought iron. It is assumed that the column was made by blacksmith welding and is 1600 years old. The Kawat-ul Mosque is a remnant of Islamic India and dates from 1192, of which today are mere ruins surrounded by an iron pillar that resists the ages. The Hindu iron pillar is much older than Islamic ruins, and at first glance you wouldn't even estimate its age. It was forged about 1,600 years ago and moved to Delhi about 1,000 years ago before the mosque was built. Although there are more mysteries around the pillar, one surpasses the others. The pillar does not seem to have rusted over the centuries. Although we now know that this is not entirely accurate. However, he is definitely in incredibly good condition for his age. It is not completely without rust. A small amount of rust begins to appear on the pole. Thanks to such a trifle, however, the condition of the column will not be less mysterious. As mentioned above, it should practically no longer exist. How is it possible that he survived such a long time? The answer to this question is not easy. Scientists are still puzzled by this and have come up with at least a few theories, but they have their own. In general, therefore, one of the main catalysts for rust is moisture, and Delhi is not very humid. This could be one of the factors in the natural protection of the iron pillar in Delhi. Other options include the skills of the men who made the pole, the quality of the materials used, and the random conditions that caused the protective layer to appear on the pole. However, there is still a variant of advanced technology which was very ahead for its time. A study conducted in 1963 by M.K. Ghosh of the National Metallurgical Laboratory suggests that the construction of the pillar involved hammering pieces of hot iron, one piece at a time, to shape it. According to the study, each piece could weigh 20 to 30 kilograms. A closer look at the surface of the column shows traces of a wrought iron hammer. Low iron rust is probably due to the high phosphorus content, low sulfur content, low manganese content and high slag content in wrought iron. The construction of the column is still a mystery. The answer may ultimately be provided by an analysis of the pillar itself, or perhaps going through India's rich history. The secret of making Damascus steel. Damascus steel, or Damask steel, was named after the Syrian city of Damascus, through which the steel was previously imported from India. It was first produced in India from iron ore with a high carbon level of about 1.5% and other trace elements. In the first centuries, Damascus steel was most commonly used for weapons, which explains why it was so valuable. Swords were difficult to make because they were long and slender. The best steel was needed to make them stable and flexible. Therefore, it was used to produce high-quality knife blades and swords with characteristic patterns called marbling. The original Damascus steel was produced in India and Sri Lanka, then production expanded to Persia and Turkey, from where the products reached Europe. Damascus steel has become known for its properties. It means very high hardness, flexibility, and toughness. As this steel was also very expensive, its production was secret. The technique of production of this steel was one of the most kept secrets of the time, and only a few selected blacksmiths of the time were introduced to the production process. The production process was passed on only orally, and together with the old masters, over time, the knowledge of the production process completely disappeared and over time was forgotten. The beautifully wavy lines that characterize Damascus steel look as if they have a supernatural origin. And if its appearance is so amazing, then the physical benefits of this type of steel are even more impressive. Thanks to them, it was so sought after and expensive during its heyday. Damascus steel, which has been prized for centuries, lost its importance in the 18th century, but today great interest has reawakened it. What exactly is Damascus steel? Steel is an alloy made of iron and carbon, but mostly of iron. The challenge for old metalworkers was to create steel that was flexible and strong. The early sword makers did not know exactly how to assemble steel. When they melted the iron, they got what they got. Eventually, they found that some ores produced one property and others other properties. Some ores supplied flexible material and others strength. Conclusion. What to say to all those amazing inventions and technologies that are ahead of their time? It is a sad truth that there is often a lack of physical evidence of how intelligent people were before and how they achieved these remarkable timeless things. Most of the tools they used for their work turned to dust, as did the parchments on which everything could be written. But the greatest evil of mankind is war and the desire for power. This has always been and is behind the fact that humanity is moving back in evolution rather than moving forward. War can destroy more than people, the army or leaders. Culture, tradition, progress and history also lie in the line of fire. In every war, there is a possibility that the precious treasures of human knowledge will be lost forever. Thanks for watching this video, and if you like it, please remember to give a thumbs up. Leave comment below, I'd love to read from you, and if you're not subscribed, click subscribe, and also click the little bell icon so you'll immediately get notified of the next video that I publish. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you on the next video.